Okay, guys. Hey. We're just going to do a lap of Road Atlanta. I've just come out of the pits. Just going to show, I normally do these for the Tier 3 boys before it all got merged to Tier 2 on the Davecam PPr Race League. Because some people are way faster than me. You know, I ain't professing to be the best in the world at this game. Some people are way slower than me. So this is just for all the dudes that are slower than me. All the dudes that are way better than me and just think, what are you doing, you muppet? Move on. But basically, I'm going to cruise around. I'm going to show you where I brake, what gear I like to be in, and hopefully you can take something from that. Obviously, if you're in a different car to the Mercedes, things might be different. It handles different. The gear changes will be different. The ratios will be different. But at least you can get an idea of what it is that I'm doing to get a reasonable race pace. This isn't a crazy mad qualifying lap. This is just going to be a safe, decent race pace lap that should be fairly competitive in the midfield. I would expect. So we'll get cracking when we cross the start finish line up here. Now again, I just want to get it out there. I'm not the best in the world. I'm not saying that I'm the best in the world, but some of the guys in the league, in the Tier 3 league that we used to have before it got merged to Tier 2, used to really appreciate me doing a little hot lap for them to say this is where you need to be at. So we'll talk about this corner, which is an absolute in the when we get round to it. But let's just say you've managed to get a great exit out of the last corner here. You're going to be tucked right over on the left-hand side of the track like so. You're going to be all the way up into 6th gear, and then basically, as soon as you would say that grass verge there, for me, this is only for me, guys. Remember, just showing you some stuff. As soon as that grass verge there is sort of parallel with where I would imagine my body would be, that's when I would start braking. So not right at it, just about there. Bang. I'll be hard on the brakes, and then you would be down 2 gears, and you lift off and coast for a second. So that coasting gives you a little bit of a breather so you can ascertain, am I too hot, am I too cold, and what am I going to do about it? Because you can't find out you were too hot 25 metres too late, because that's a problem, especially on the exit of this corner, because you're just going to meet that brickwork over there, and it's not going to be much fun for you. So you're now coasting through here. You get on the throttle as early as you can when you realise you've got all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and you get all the way back out here, sort of towards 75% over, I would say. Not all the way to the curb, because that's a bit too far. You've got to be careful here, the people coming out of the pit lane when you're in a race scenario, because it's absolute pandemonium up here. When especially you've got LMP2s, GT3s, GTEs, and people coming out of pits, it's just absolutely crazy, this. But let's just assume it's all sweet and you ain't got nothing to worry about. You're up here in 4th gear. This lamppost over there that you can see in the distance, that is my marker. I get that basically in the middle of my screen, and I charge towards it. And that will open up this corner, and as I'm coming over the crest of the hill, I'm thinking about letting off the throttle and getting on the brakes. But you don't let off the throttle and slam on the brakes, because the car's going to go light over the top of this hill. You on the brakes, that's going to push the weight to the front of the car. Hang on a minute, itchy ear roll. That's going to push the weight to the front of the car. It's going to lift the rear. When you're on the brakes, it's just going to spin the car. So you've got to be really careful about losing the rear of the car at that point. You're going to be all the way over here. You're going to be down into 2nd, and you're going to get right on this apex. That apex is well worn, look, by a lot of race cars that are cutting it. I don't ever cut this apex, because for me, for some reason, it just causes me grief. So I'm always right on it as if you would expect to be a race car. You're going to be way out over here somewhere because you're going to be carrying speed, and then you can hug this apex all the way round. It's going to be a nice one. For me, this is about 90%, 95% throttle feathering it, because I can't just have it round here, especially when the car's full of fuel. As I come in line, I'm basically fully in line with the side of this curb. That's when you start turning in. It's a blind turning, basically. You're going to be tearing around here, and you just got to have faith that you've got it right. You're going to turn in. You're going to be on the full chat all the way down here. You're going to roll over that apex, and about this point here, you're going to be going up into 5th. Keep your foot planted. As you hit this curb, hard on the brakes, down 2 gears. You're going to try and open up this corner as much as you can. You can use the outside of the curb over here. A lot of it. You can use a lot of that curb. In fact, you can run right out on over that curb and onto the access road and then come back onto the racetrack. If you're going way too fast, you are better accepting that curb than you are trying to avoid that curb, because what happens is you're steering off the curb but you're actually going to go on it. It makes the rear of the car go horrible because you've got a load of turning input at the front of the car. Loads of people spin here, so you're better off kind of coming out here onto the access road with less steering input and fighting it and letting it just wander back onto the track. Really, really hard on the throttle up here. Obviously, it's a straightaway. You'll probably make it up into 5th if you're in the Merc. At the line, hard on the brakes, down 2 gears. Let me show you again. Basically, I am hard on the brakes at that line there, the 200 metre mark. So you're at your full chat up here in 5th. Let's get it going. And you'll go down into 3rd, and then I will coast until I kind of the corner kind of sucks you in and punch you out. Then you'll be hard on the throttle until you get to the outside curb. A little dab of the brakes, down another gear and turn into this apex, like so. Then you're going to be hard on the throttle all the way up here. As you come out, stay to the left now. As you come over the crest of the hill, you want a straight line, like a diagonal slice down the straight, because that's the shortest way across it. No wandering around left and right or anything like that. As you get to the 100 metre mark here, you're going to go hard on the brakes, down 4. At the 4th one, you're going to turn in and roll right over that apex, yeah? Let's go back there and see what we did then. So, the 100 metre mark there, literally, as if you're right beside it, you're flat out in 6, hard on the brakes, down 4 gears, and you'll end up in 2nd. And for me, as I hit the 4th downshift, I can let off the brakes and coast through this corner. And that will normally mean you can make this apex, and you can cut a bit of that apex like that, which opens up this corner. You want to get over here, right over to the apex. You're going to be right out here somewhere. Now this corner here is quite hard when I first started doing Road Atlanta, because you just don't know where to put the car. You don't want to be right over on the right hand side of the bridge unless you're pitting, and you don't want to be all the way over to the left, because when you come over the hill you're going to realise you've run out of track. What I do is I aim for that yellow flag and I run that yellow square as if it's going right over the middle of my car, and that will have my steering input at about the right angle to just take this corner lovely. So I will try to implement all that in a lap for you now.
Your last lap time was at 120.88. Sector 3 times okay. Sector 1 is a 10th off your pace. Your lap time was at 120.02.
That's got
Sector 3 times
6.9
okay.
litres of fuel left in the car, so that might have been quite quick, that lap, but I'm pretty sure I can get at least half a second, maybe a second off of that for qualifying. But that was a fairly easy lap. You know, I wasn't fighting the cars, pretty chilled, not going mental, and that's where you want to be, relaxed, not fighting it, not death gripping the wheel or anything like that. You've got to be fairly chill. So there you go, guys. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and all that. Keep it real.